Hello, wonderful. I want to specially welcome you to Ministry and Money Masterclass with GK. On this channel, we learn more about money. We learn how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply the money that you've made. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to make money. How to make money, part one. Three important points to note. Three important points to note. All right, it is imperative to understand that before we start going through the various steps, the various guidelines to making money, it is important to note these three vital points. The first point is have some financial education. Have some financial education. To be able to make money, you need to at least have some financial education. Now, the second thing to note is that you should be willing to work. You should be willing to work. There are other things that we will talk about as we continue. But this is the second thing that you need to know. To be able to make money, you should be willing to work. And the third thing to note, the third vital point to note is that for you to be able to make money, you should capitalize on opportunities. Capitalize on opportunities. So we want to look at the first one. The first one is some financial education. Now, let me say this. Before we look at these three steps, we must understand the goal. We must remember, reflect on the goal of this channel. The goal of this channel is how to make clean money or how to create clean wealth. So, for you to attain financial freedom genuinely, there are some things you are supposed to do, or some things you are supposed to note in your journey, or as you begin your journey. For you to be successful on this financial journey, you need to note these 3 points. The first one is have some financial education. When we say you need to have some financial education, what we basically mean is that you should have some fundamental knowledge about money. You should understand what money is and what money is not. You should understand what money is and what money is not. And when you go to the Bible, according to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 to 9, it says something. It says wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all you're getting, get understanding. It continues to say that exhort her. Here, the Bible is personifying understanding. It says, exhort her, and she will promote you. She will bring you honor when you embrace her. She will place on your head an ornament of grace and crown of glory she will deliver to you. That shows that wisdom is very principal, very important, and in all you're getting to, you should endeavor to get understanding. So when it comes to how to make money too, you should endeavor to get some understanding about what money is and how this money works. It's very important. Until we get that, it becomes hard for us to be equipped enough to make money. But then I can say this to you. This is maybe a provoking thought or a provoking message to you. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that if we talk about how to make money, it is important to know that it is easier to make more money genuinely than otherwise. It is more easier for you to make money genuinely than otherwise. So that is a thought-provoking, assertion that I have made. Now let's continue. I will first of all admonish anyone watching this video that if you haven't watched our previous video on what money is and what money is not, please go and do that, and it will help you to understand more about money. A little recap here is that we've established a fact, or we established the fact that money is generally or universally accepted medium of exchange for goods and services. So when we are talking about money, although we have different types of money, that in our previous video, we talked about 5 types of money. The key thing we want you to know from here is that money in itself is the generally accepted medium of exchange for goods and services. And then you also establish the fact that money is a tool. Money in itself is a tool. For you to be able to make money, you must understand, or you should understand, that money is a tool. Money in itself is neutral. Money is not sinful, or money is not a sin. Money is not the root of all evil. Therefore, we need to understand that when we are talking about money, it is a concept that is neutral. Although materialistic in itself, is normally or mostly associated with carnality when it comes to religion, money in itself is neither sacred nor satanic. So money in itself is neither sacred nor satanic. For you to say anything about money, that it is used wrongly or it's used maybe rightly or whatever, depends on the user. It is a tool. In our previous video, we did an illustration over there. As far as it is a tool, whether money is neutral or money is not neutral, whether money is a good thing or money is not good thing, whether you saw someone using money in a way that you think is good, or in a way that you think it is not good, it is dependent on the user. I have an outcry on money that I want to share. I will have an outcry. This is just an interlude. So when I was thinking about money, I heard the world making an outcry, and the world was saying that I am suffering because of you. I am suffering because of you. I am suffering because of you. Because of you. You have not possessed me. You have not learned how to make use of me. And because of you, I am suffering. And because of you, I am suffering. Therefore, arise. Oh, arise, all Christians. Oh, arise, all the holy ones. Oh, arise, all the saints, and possess me, because it is you that I am suffering. It is you that I'm suffering. So the world is crying. The world is crying. This is just maybe a sarcastic, interlude that I made through. Whoever knows where this is coming from, I do not by any means intend to ridicule or insult, but this is a way of making the craft nice. Now, the key thing to mention over here is that if you think that the world is chaos, many evil are going on across throughout the whole world because um, people are not using money well, then it is a call to you to wake up and learn how to make money so that you can make more money and use the more money so well. Okay, so having understood that, if we think that the world is chaotic because people who have money are not using money rightly or the right way, then it is a call to all of us to wake up and make money. I have earlier stated that it is more easier to make more money genuinely or legally than otherwise. All right, okay. Now understand this, that even Jack Ma says that when we talk about, oh, you need to have some financial education, we don't necessarily say that you should attend a business school, or you should necessarily, have certificates upon certificates, master certificate, PhD in this, PhD in that. No. If you get the opportunity to go through your formal education, you should be diligent, study hard, and pass well. However, when it comes to money creation, you do not necessarily need to get formal education to the highest level before you make money. What you need most is financial education, because we have some people who have gone through all the education ladder, who have studied business, who have studied a lot of things about accounting and finance, but yet their life are so tight they cannot even put one or two things across. That doesn't mean that we are ridiculing anybody who have studied this and then is not working in affluence or abundance. But what we're trying to say is that going through formal education is different from having financial education. Although when you go through formal education, it puts you in the position to really understand some basic concepts. Aside that, what you need most is some basic fundamentals about money. And there's something that Jack Ma says that when it comes to being successful in business creation or in money making, you do not necessarily need to be the smartest person. And Warren Buffett, who also says that you don't need to be the most intelligent or so intelligent to invest, but all you need to do is to have the ability to evaluate stock and then know how to control your mood so you don't sell when there is any panic or when there is a downturn or something like that. So that's what he was also talking about. Another thing that we can also bring on board to show that you do not necessarily need to go through formal education to the highest level before you make money. That way, it will become difficult. That way, the system will be biased, meaning that those who can make money are those who are intellectuals, who are elite, who have gone through school from maybe high school, universities, first degree, second degree, third degree, and stuff. But that is not the case. Another thing to note is that Robert Kiyosaki says in his book that why the A student work for the C student. That means that there are some people who will go through all the academic ladder. They will end up coming to work for some people who didn't go through. That doesn't mean that education is wrong. That means that there is a distinction between formal education and financial education. And what we are saying about how to make money is that you need some level, some basic or fundamental understanding of financial knowledge of money and not necessarily learning to the topmost. I watched a recent video, that's an old video, but I watched it recently about Honorable Kennedy Japan, who is a member, who used to be a former member of parliament in Ghana and currently maybe an aspirant of the flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party in Ghana. I watched one of his videos and he said when he couldn't complete his masters here, his masters in the United States of America, he told his wife that he's going to make it and he's going to make a great business and he will employ, I think he couldn't complete his PhD rather. So he will employ PhD people to work for him. And today, it's not about you being a PhD holder or a professor. Based on his successes, you can't wait to work for him. So it's not about your certificate, it's about being willing to work. So this takes us to the second point to note, the second vital point to note when it comes to money making or how to make money. So the second point is be willing to work and work well. Be willing to work and work well. And you are not supposed to be idle. And idle is a polite word of saying that if you are thinking or if you are watching this video and you have the intention, the desire to make money, you cannot be lazy. You are not supposed to be lazy. There is something to note here that you need to be willing to work. And when we talk about not being lazy, but rather being hardworking here, we are not necessarily talking about hard labor, that you are doing the hardest job or you are doing the hardest thing, you are stressing yourself. Because when we talk about financial education, or when you talk about financial freedom that we long to achieve on this channel, good health is part of it. So we are not saying that you should kill yourself because you want to make money. That means you have not understood money. But what we are talking about here is to work strategically and smartly. At some point, you might have to work so hard, take 2 jobs or take 3 jobs when you are not maybe in Africa, you are in Europe, America, Australia, Asia, and then you are doing double shift and all of that. If you are doing this for the rest of your life, then that means you have not understood money. But if you are doing it within a period of time, a goal that you set for yourself so that you can raise money to start something, that is not wrong. You have a direction that you are going. So we know that Elon Musk, who is currently the richest, man on earth, or the richest man living as of today, if my recent or if my most recent research is correct, That's or at the time that I'm recording this video, so that if you watch it in years to come, you don't argue with it. At the time that I'm recording this video, I think he stands as the richest man on earth. Now, yes, the richest man currently. The first thing to know that there was some time that when he started his company, he had to sleep in the warehouse and work for over 100 hours in a week. He didn't continue to do that for a while, for the rest of his life. He was doing that sacrifice and attain a goal, and then he goes back. So for you to be able to make money, you need to be willing, or you should be willing to work. That is very key. And here we are not talking about a strenuous work, killing yourself, a hard labor. But we are talking about hard working that is done strategically, that is done smartly. All right, okay. And the next thing to note over here is if you desire to make wealth, you need to distinguish between job and work. Job and work. You do not necessarily need a job to become a millionaire. People who become millionaire through their job do no longer see their job as a work, and then they do things extraordinary. They go beyond the normal job where you are working for an employer, your heart, your passion is everywhere, and you are just looking at that. They upgrade themselves. They think about how they think differently. We'll talk about that. They manage their money differently. And they look at how to multiply their money even while they are on job. So it is not wrong to be on job, but if you want to attain financial freedom, you cannot stay on job, or you cannot just stay on your job and then you attain financial freedom. So please, that is what we are saying. What you need is a work. Now I want to raise something to you. When I was looking at the distinction between job and work, and the second point, which says that for you to be able to make money, or for you to be able to make money or create wealth, you should be willing to work. I came across uh, an assertion or an utterance that was made by Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is how it says. This is how it goes. He says that if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all hosts of heaven and earth pause to say, here lives a great sweeper who did his job well. And this is attributed to Martin Luther. It talks about, how to be excellence in your work, regardless of maybe the status that you pursue. So this is very important, that you cannot downplay that. If you desire to make wealth, you need to work extraordinary. Whether you are currently working for someone as an employee or not, you need to do your work so well. And then when you go to the second part of how to make money, you understand that irrespective of your qualification, you will need to put your qualification aside and start something. What you might do, or what you'll be doing, the status might be way below what you think you qualify, or what you might genuinely qualify based on your academic accomplishment. But to make money, it is not about that. You should be willing to work. There are other things that you should note. I just want to contrast them over here as we move on. If we are looking at making money, then you should be willing to work and make the money that you want to make. And you should not misunderstand prayer and fasting or some spiritual exercise. If you are a Christian or if you are a believer, if you really want to make money, you should not misunderstand the place of prayer and fasting in your spiritual growth when it comes to making money, spirituality, your faith, miracle monies, and all of that. You do not need to misunderstand them or confuse them with how to make money. The second thing to note is that you should not chase betting. You should not chase betting. If you want to make money, chasing betting jackpots, gamblings, and all the rest, it is an error because it is not path. It is not part of the pathways to make wealth. Because when it comes to betting and gambling and lottery and the jackpot and all of that, there's one thing that we can say over here, that for those who have established them, their businesses or their companies, they will surely make money because there is a way it works for them. But when we look at money making, it's like you are looking at a potter making a clay. You know what you are doing. You don't throw it. It's not, you are not getting the results you want to achieve by chance. You know what you are doing. You know what you want to attain. You have that vision in your mind and you bring that in. You bring that out. That is why when a potter makes or takes a clay and makes a pot and look at the pot, and the pot doesn't look like the way he has seen in his mind, he would have to, beat them, flatten them, and then, re make everything all together so that he get the shape that he wants. That is how you should understand money. That is how you should understand making money. You cannot desire to make money by just living your life by chance that, oh, I know this betting will work and stuff. I would want to say that if you have passion to be going into betting or gambling and all of that, and you still want to make money, the energy you have, the time you use to check the score line, do the lineup and all of that, check which player is working, is playing, which player is not playing, to check yes, to also check maybe previous matches and all of that and put them together. If you could put those analysis and the little monies you use to stake your bet or to chase the jackpot and the rest, if you were to use those money to start something, you create wealth. It might be the case that you know somebody who stake a bet or who chase jackpot and whatever and got huge sums of money. But the chances, if you look at the probability, the chances of you becoming the next lucky person is very low. And when it comes to wealth creation, there is nothing about luck. This is why people can make some bold decision. They can make some bold decision, or they can make some let's say harsh assertion about how to make money, and I'll talk about some of them later. Then another thing that you need to understand is that when we talk about making money, nobody attain money by luck. If you want to make money, you should understand that you are supposed to work for the money that you want to make. Work for it. If you do not work for it and you hope that by luck you get the money that you are looking for, it doesn't happen like that. Therefore, take that mindset off so that you can begin your journey to wealth creation. It is because of these that some people make some, strong assertion that you do not even need God. You do not even need God to make money. This is something that I will talk about in our other video, the place of God in our money making. But before we look at that in our subsequent episode, we want to understand that when it comes to money making, you need to understand financial education. So when it comes to financial education, there are two things that happen. One, we say that it is financially wise, or yes, it is financially wise for you to have insurance when you are making money. So if we don't even know any place that God plays, any place that God take, or any role that he plays in our money making, we might consider the insurance aspect when it comes to money making. But that is something that we'll talk about later, as you said. So we've said that for money making, first you should, or yes, you should have some fundamental knowledge about money. The second one is that you should be willing to work. You should be willing to work. If you are already having a job and you know that you have not attained financial freedom and you want to attain financial freedom, what you need to do is to get up and work. And we are going to look at the next, we are going to look at the step-by-step guide to making money, and that will be in our next episode. So the last thing to talk about, the last vital point to note when it comes to making money, is capitalize on opportunity. There is a popular saying which goes that opportunity comes but once. This does not necessarily mean that when you miss one opportunity throughout your lifetime, there are no other opportunities for you again. What it means is that there are some unique opportunities, there are some glorious opportunities that when you miss them, you might never meet an opportunity in that manner again. And another thing is that you might end up developing the habit of missing all the succulent or all the excellent, the brilliant opportunities that come your way. That is why you need to understand this quote. And then the other quote says that opportunity comes to those who are prepared. From this level, there's one amazing quote that I want to share with you, a quote by one of our mentors in this field, Bishop Dr. Emmanuel Olimide. He says that it is better to be prepared and waiting for opportunities than for opportunities to come and meet you unprepared. It is better to be prepared and waiting for opportunities than for opportunities to come and meet you unprepared. Therefore, preparation is very necessary. And he continues to define or define poor, P-O-O-R, as passing over opportunities repeatedly. So for your journey, for our journey, for us to be able to make money, we need to understand that we cannot be passing opportunities repeatedly. We cannot be passing opportunities repeatedly, and we cannot stay there waiting for opportunities to come before we prepare ourselves. We should be preparing, or we should be prepared, waiting for opportunities to come rather than sitting there for opportunities to come and meet us unprepared. The next thing to understand is that on money making, you cannot play with some opportunities. So somebody will say that, okay, we are talking about capitalizing on opportunities. Where do we find opportunities? In this episode, I will be talking about 3 P's. 3 P's. That is 3 places or 3 areas, or yes, 3 areas we can find opportunities. And then maybe as we continue to share more videos on how to make money, I'll add more. So the first P is problem, 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 problem. For you to be able to make money, you should understand that you are called, you are required to capitalize on opportunity. And where do you find opportunity? The first place to find opportunity is in problems. Problems. So if you want to look at where opportunity is, the opportunity that will help you to make money, it is in problem. So if you identify a problem and you find a solution to that problem, you end up making money out of that problem that you found a solution in. The second one, or the second P, is people. So people have needs. People have got a lot of things that they need. So if you are able to position yourself in a manner that you can meet the needs of people, if you provide the need of people, they will also give you money in return. So what happens there is that there are opportunities in people. So you need to capitalize on that. The last to talk about is place. So if you look at problem, the last to look at is place. When you talk about place, what do we mean? We mean the gap. These P's are a bit different, but they are highly related. So when you identify a problem, within that problem, you find opportunity there. And if you find a solution to that problem, you make money. The second one is people. If you meet people and you see the need of these people, and you provide the need for them, you are going to make money. It is an opportunity. The last one is a place. So, for instance, if you identify a problem, and then the problem that you've identified, unfortunately for you, individual A is doing it. You identify another problem. You saw that individual B is doing it. You look around your environment, you saw the third problem. You wanted to do it and you saw that individual C is doing it. It looks like all the problems that I'm finding, somebody or some people are already doing it. No, you can also look at where are they doing it. If they are doing it at the place that you are, is there other places on earth? Is there other places you can reach that those problems are there, but nobody is finding a solution to? So all you do will be to copy the solution of these people. Either you modify it or you copy it hook and line, and you go there and you do it. Then you go to a need. So you are looking at the need of people. So if you think that there is a need of people here, and then all these needs are met, then you need to look at a different place. So you are looking for a gap. So the place there is a gap. Where is the gap? Is the gap in change of location, or it's about you tracing something? Okay, if this is what they need and they need in this manner, is there a way that you can do repackaging? Is there a way that you can create a space so that you can fit there? So when you look at these three P's and you capitalize on them, that means you've capitalized on opportunity and they will bring you money. So the last thing to say over here is that you need to be careful when it comes to opportunities. Many opportunities that will make you money, that will lead you to the financial education you are looking for. They do not many a times come in the nice form that we are looking for, the form that they deserve. Sometimes they will look like, oh, your opportunity is in that, you know, maybe low status work, that low status role. You start it, it will connect to something, it will connect to another one, and by the time you realize, you are booming out of it. You will look at how to manage money and how to multiply money. Then the other thing to note is that don't say that, oh, I've heard many people saying that, oh, I need to be prepared, oh, and be waiting for opportunity. Before opportunity meet me unprepared. And because there are lots of things that are happening on earth, you don't blindly trust anybody you meet on YouTube, or you hear them talking about any opportunity anywhere. If you try that, you make a mistake. It has happened to me before. I trusted some people. You go into maybe business with them, and by the time you realize, things have turned completely. So you need to understand. I think it happened to me twice. One was in Ghana, and one is in the UK here. Yes, I remember when I was in Ghana, and then I was at the University of Cape Coast, and I wanted to do something. One of these businesses, they talk about things, they share you so nicely, the product and everything. I got the first product. I was able to sell the first product. I did my auto ship, and I decided that no, the way I've suffered, I'm not going to do the second one. I see the product, heard that I was thinking to leave them, and the product, in fact, and punish me. I wasn't able to sell them, and then I had to give them out, and then I just escaped. So the one in the UK we cannot even talk about now. But the key thing to understand is that when it comes to opportunities, you are supposed to capitalize them, but you should capitalize them with a widely open eyes. Ask questions, assess them, make consultation if you need to make consultation. If it is about a company, you need to go to website, and whatever you find on the website, you need to ask somebody and ask somebody until you meet somebody who will know. If you know how to research well. If you don't know how to research, ask somebody, and somebody will make you understand. Because usually, when it comes to money making, it is not a sprint, it is more like a marathon. You start it slowly, you start it slowly, you start it slowly, you start it slowly. You don't start with a top feed and finish a top feed. So if somebody communicates something to you and it looks like that is it, it looks like so good to be true. And there's a saying that most of the opportunities that appear so good to be true to you, you should first of all keep it in mind that it is likely not to be true. I think when I listen to something like this about from Bishop Dr. Um, Emmanuel Olumide, says that some of those opportunities, if they were true, those people who will come and introduce you to will be giving it to their family members. So please, let's be careful about opportunities. There are some opportunities that you'll be privileged to hear, you capitalize on them. But when you hear opportunity, don't say that because of this. For me, anything I do not know, I'm not going to give it a listening ear. The key thing you need to do, the due diligence you need to do, is to research about it, ask questions, and don't just follow it blindly. Open your eyes, and I believe that if there is something that is not clear about it, you will be most likely able to know it, especially when you talk to people about it. All right, so in today's episode, if you look at how to make money, part one, and our focus was on the three vital points to note. So if you look at the first one being have some financial knowledge or some financial education, that if you are going to make money. The second one is that you should be willing to work, whether you have a job or not a job. The last one is that you should capitalize on opportunity. Thank you so much for following the video up to today. In the next episode, we'll be talking about how to make money step by step guide. That's part two. So please do your best maximum to like our video so that other people will see it. Subscribe to our channel and share our video to your friend. This is Money, Ministry and Money Masterclass. This is Ministry and Money Masterclass with GK. Thank you. Bye bye.